Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. It's going to be a fun one today. We're talking about Star Wars, and we're talking about acting performances in Star Wars because I've done about 200 plus episodes of Rankum, and this is the one franchise we haven't done acting performances in, surprisingly. But I got a great panel here. Over here we've got Ben. Ben, how's it going?
Good, thank you for having me. This is going to be fun. I love this franchise, and there's a lot of great characters in this. I can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, and also here we've got Kevin. Kevin, how's it going?
It's going great. I really appreciate you picking me for this panel. My love for Star Wars goes real deep, and it's going to be for me. It's going to be hard to narrow this down to 12. So that's what's going to make this an interesting panel, and so I can't wait to see it. And yes, I am a member of the dark side. All right, I had to say that.
Also here we've got Steven. Steven, how's it going?
It's going well. I just realized I wasted a perfectly great opportunity to name myself a Star Trek character.
And last but not least, he would have yelled at me if I didn't pick him for this panel. We've got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
Kev, I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. That's what we're here to talk about, right? Spaceballs. No, I'm doing well, Malcolm. Thank you for having me on the show, buddy. It's been a minute. I'll try not to make this 3 hours long. Try.
But with that being said, how Rankum works is we go around in the round table discussion. Everyone's going to throw out a acting performance from anywhere in the Star Wars franchise, which includes TV, and that, and everyone else will say yes or no to it. And just so people are clear, we're not picking specific movies for their acting. It's just their acting in general. So it doesn't matter if they're voted in one movie or multiple. It's just the acting performance over the whole franchise that is what counts. All right. So Ben, what is your first one you're going to bring up?
The first one I will bring up is Sir Ewan McGregor, who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi. He had some big steps to fill with Alec Guinness, and since episode 1, people said he's the best thing about the prequels, and up until this last Obi-Wan Kenobi series, he made it his own, and he's so good in this character, he owns it every time he's on the screen.
Kevin, what do you say about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
This is a solid yes. From the hello there to the you are my friend. It's just it's a like you said, like Ben said, he had big shoes to fill coming into the prequels, and he did a great job. And he's still doing a great job, even with, it may not have the best writing, the Obi-Wan series, but Ewan McGregor, every time I see him on the screen, I just get excited. He's just an awesome presence.
Stephen, what do you say about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
It's definitely a yes. To be honest, he did start off a little rocky in Phantom Menace, a little flat at times, but in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, he's absolutely fantastic. So it's definitely yes.
Jay, what would you have said about Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I know you still said yes, Steven, but I just want to point out that everybody was flat and a little rocky in the Phantom Menace. Don't just try to throw him under the bus. This would have been a yes. This would have been a yes, 100%.
Well, there's one person.
Obi-Wan.
There's one person, and I think in Phantom Menace, who was awesome.
Yoda wasn't in that movie.
But yeah, for I would have easily been yes for me. Like, it's one of those ones like for anyone that jumps in later playing a character that was established in the original series, it's always going to be compared to that original character. And I think Ewan McGregor really showed like how connected he was to Sulls and sort of how much he wanted to be as close to Alec Guinness as possible. And because like even in the Obi-Wan series, which is I think it's about 20 years before New Hope, or maybe
Roughly.
Yeah, roughly.
No, I think it's less than a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
I think it's 8.
Yeah. But regardless, like he got really close to sort of the tone that Alec Guinness was going for, and I think it definitely showed like the progression sort of going through that franchise. So Ewan McGregor is definitely making this list. I would have been easy yes on there. And Kevin, we go to you for your next nomination.
And I'm going to go for his predecessor, and I'm going to go for Sir Alec Guinness. He started off as Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the original, the OG. But, when he first started off with this, he's brought a presence to the role that I think really that they needed that star power to kind of like propel Star Wars. Because there hadn't been a Star Wars up to that point. There hadn't been, all the 3 movies already up to this point, and we've already seen this, and we already know what to expect from this character. He just he's coming up with this stuff, basically him and Lucas on the spot, and he's doing a great job. And he really could have like just kind of just put it in the can and like made it like a late actor work, but he didn't. He put a lot into it, and I think he did a great job. So I think this list would be a miss without Sir Alec Guinness.
Stephen, what do you say about Alec Guinness?
Yeah, he brings a real gravity and nobility to the part, and he's great. So it's definitely a yes.
Jay, what do you say about Alec Guinness?
Love the guy. He hated Star Wars. I'm gonna say no to this one, and this is because this is acting performances. This isn't about what happened behind the scenes. This is about acting performances. He gives one good performance and then can't barely be seen on set afterwards. He's only in the movie for all of about 27 and a half minutes, and then he's gone. If he had a larger role to play in 5 and 6, I would say yes, but like him just showing up for half a movie and then disappearing, leaving us with probably one of the greatest quotes of all time. Don't get me wrong, but one great quote does not make it a great acting performance. I'm going to have to say no to this one.
Yeah, I'm also actually going to say no to Alec Guinness. Like I like Alec Guinness, like he's definitely a good actor, but it's one of those ones like there's so many characters in here that if we keep getting all versions of it, it could be a really list of doubles. So and yeah, like while there is arguments like Alec Guinness is the only one from Sales to be nominated for an Oscar, it doesn't necessarily mean anything either. Like he still gives a good performance, but yeah, if he was in it for longer, I might have leaned towards yes. But that being said, Ben, it's up to you. What do you say about Alec Guinness?
Oh wow. I was going to say yes, but you guys made good points. So yeah, I think I have to say no. If he was in it more, like you said, I wouldn't say yes, but when you really sit back and think about it, I mean, he wasn't in it all that much. So, yeah, no. No one else in it. I thought I would
Unfortunately,
never say that. But, yeah.
unfortunately, Alec Guinness does not make this list. Stephen, what is your next nomination?
That's got to be something of an upset.
No kidding.
I think had we started with Alec Guinness and then went to Obi-Wan and then went to Ewan McGregor, they both might have made the list.
Yeah.
Might have been, maybe.
Oh, listen, blame me.
Oh, no, nobody's gonna blame you. It happened in an alternate timeline. It happened.
Oh yeah.
There you go. I'm not me.
But anyway, Stephen, what's your first nomination?
What? Why not? I'll bring up. I think he was awesome in the Phantom Menace. I'll bring up Jar Jar Binks. I'm just kidding.
I was about to say we're kicking Stephen off the call.
Yeah, me, I'm going to miss you now.
Yeah, I'm just. I don't know if you heard that. That's
No. Who'd you say?
Jake Lloyd.
I'd rather go with the Jar Jar Binks. Oh God! Right off the bat, this is gonna be a no for me, my boy.
No. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Good.
I'm going with this is the real one, Liam Neeson, of course. I think he's awesome as Qui-Gon Jinn, even though he is. I suppose if someone wanted to make the argument that he's essentially playing Liam Neeson, I still think he was awesome and one of my favorite characters of the franchise. It's too bad he's only in one movie, but
technically he's in two.
Well, I think his voice, but
Technically, he's in TV show now.
I haven't seen Obi-Wan yet, so I.
Spoilers.
But I knew.
Oh, Hitler.
But he dominates that movie, and he's great. So I'm going with Liam Neeson.
Jay, what do you say about Liam Neeson?
This one's actually going to be a no from me as well. We talked about it a little bit earlier. People being flat and rocky. Like, yeah, Liam Neeson, the character of Qui-Gon Jinn, is great in other media. In the first movie, not so much. He's very monotonous with his dialogue readings. He's just all around flat. It's not a good performance until the Duel of the Fates. And at that point in time, it's not enough for me to say yes for Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, Qui-Gon Jinn did a good job of playing Liam Neeson in The Phantom Menace. But yeah, look, I like Liam Neeson. I think he was great in Qui-Gon Jinn, but when it comes to The Phantom Menace, like a lot for me, because I mean, Liam Neeson is one that I didn't even want on my list of ones that I was personally going to bring up because, like, it's just one of those ones that, while he is good in it, I think there's a lot more better performances over the franchise at full stop. Ben, what do you say about Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn?
Well, seeing that he has, excuse me, seeing that he has a certain particular set of skills, I'm actually going yes. He's a bright spot in that movie for me, and I like him in that movie.
So, Kevin, it comes down to you. What do you say about Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn?
No, this was an easy no for me, unfortunately. I like Liam Neeson and I like Qui-Gon Jinn in this movie, but it's just not enough. Like what we were talking about earlier, just the screen presence. I'm always watching the other characters more than him. So, yeah, he just doesn't bring enough to the film for me. So I'm going to have to give it a no.
I mean, to be fair, Liam Neeson had more of a screen presence than Alec Guinness did in all three original trilogy movies.
That's not wrong. Like, you're wrong for that, but you're not wrong.
You're right about that. Wow.
I wouldn't argue it.
But Jay,
I'm
what
tip my
is
cap
your
to you.
first nomination?
My first nomination, I'm actually going to step away from the movies for a second. My first nomination is actually coming from a different form, a different medium. I'm going with Sam Witwer as not only Darth Maul, but as Star Killer in the video games. This man put his all, strained vocal cords, yelling Kenobi like nobody's business, was able to jump from that chaotic, crazy, high energy to calm, cool, cold, and collected. And it's really kind of a shame that we didn't get any more of that, because we need so much more of that. So Sam Witwer is my choice.
Yeah, so when it comes to Sam Witwer, this is one of those ones that is going to make this a little bit tricky, is judging voice acting against the live action acting, because I mean, well, I'm not trying to say voice acting is not real acting, because it is.
Malcolm just said voice acting is not real acting.
Wow. Wow.
It's just one of those ones that, but that being said, Sam Witwer is like, especially when you go over a lot of what he's done in the games, cartoon, like animated series and all that, like he can switch his voice up really easily, and specifically I do like him as Star Killer.
He's also played Emperor Palpatine in a couple of episodes too. Like,
yeah,
that boy is multi-talented.
But yeah, one thing I will say about when it comes to the voice actors is I'll put like voice actor like a selection of things, but just because we could do a whole list of when it comes to voice actors and stuff. So, so I think that'll be fair. So I'm actually going. I will say yes to Sam Witwer.
You said all mediums at the beginning of this, by the way.
Well,
you did
well,
say
I
TV
did.
shows.
I did.
True.
But I mean, Sam Witwer still is counts. I wasn't saying it all. So, but Ben, what do you say about Sam Witwer?
I say yes for everything you guys said. He's great. But I'm confused. Are we doing actors or are we doing characters right now?
Well, that's acting performances, so voice acting does count. So
Okay, so yeah, I say yeah. I say yeah. Yes, for everything you guys said.
Yeah. But Kevin, what do you say about Sam Witwer?
I mean, this was an easy yes for me. This was going to be my next nomination if Jay didn't steal it from me. But excellent pull there. But yeah, for all the reasons that Jay said, I mean, the way he pulled the anger and passion and hatred, brought that to life in the animated series as well as in Solo. Like, he's just awesome, and there's no comparison. So I love him and hope to see more of him. So yeah, I get it.
And Stephen, what would you have said about Sam Witwer?
I'd have to abstain. I haven't seen him in anything. As far as the cartoon shows, I've only seen one episode of a couple of the shows that was put on the chat to look at. But I only got around to one episode for each of them, unfortunately.
Yeah. But yeah, for my first nomination, it's probably going to be no surprise. I'm going to go here for many reasons. But I'm going to go for Temuera Morrison for playing Jango Fett, and like by extension Boba Fett and all that. But it's basically the same character, really, just as clones reasoning. But yeah, I mean, Temuera Morrison, like as the bounty hunter, really like this is just like it's really fits like his personality he showed in movies like Once Rose and that, and so when he was cast in Attack of the Clones as Jango Fett, and then all the clones at the same time as well, I think it was just one of those ones that definitely really works. And even in the Boba Fett series, I really liked him in that as well. So, Ben, what do you say about Temuera Morrison as Django / Boba Fett?
He's great. We want to see more of him. I mean, I loved him in. I actually really liked him in Attack of the Clones, and I liked him in Boba Fett. He's a great actor, given his all. Yes, I say yes.
Kevin, what do you say about Temuera Morrison?
I like him in the role that he's in. I like the Django and Boba. Like I like that he was picked for that role. But is he top 12 actor performance worthy for this list? I'm gonna say no. Just because it's early on, and I don't want to fill up the list too quickly. I think there are better actors just even on the Book of Boba Fett and in the movies that you mentioned. So if I think of that, then that makes me think that it's an easy no.
I mean, it's also why I brought him up too early because I knew he wouldn't have had a chance later on. Stephen, what do you say about Temuera Morrison?
From what I've seen of him, he's perfectly solid in Attack of the Clones, but he didn't really stick out. I mean, his scenes with Ewan McGregor are really good, but yeah, he doesn't really stick out as one of the best. Although I don't know, maybe if I had seen Boba Fett, I would think differently. But I'm just basing this on his work in Attack of the Clones.
Jay, it comes down to you. What do you say about Temuera Morrison?
So I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love his performance in like 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. I don't much care for Attack of the Clones. I think a majority of us on this panel don't much care for Attack of the Clones. But it seems to be the only movie that Steven has watched in Star Wars. So we got that going for us, which is nice. This is going to be a no from me. I'm sorry from the sands of Tatooine. I can't do it. There are better performances out there. I don't necessarily think better performances in the Book of Boba Fett. I think there are better performances in Attack of the Clones than Temuera Morrison. And like we've only got 2 spots right now, but we have a big list to fill. And I don't want to necessarily waste a vote on somebody who would be voted out at like 12 or 11 to say yes. So I'm going to say no on this.
No, that's fair. But Ben, we come back to you. Yeah.
I respect it.
Plus he's a New Zealander.
I was like, this is exactly why Malcolm's nominating him.
But Ben, what is your next nomination?
That means I'm getting to do it. Sir Ian McDiarmid as Chief Palpatine. Every time he's in a performance, he owns that performance. From Attack of the Clones to, yes, I really like him From Phantom Menace to Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith to Empire Strikes Back to Return of the Jedi to all those voice spots he does to the TV shows. Every time you see or hear him, you believe he's this big bad of the Star Wars universe. You're afraid of him. Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine.
Kevin, what do you say about Sir Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine?
I'm going to give this one a hard yes for several reasons, but I know that he was added in later as far as the visuals, but even in the prequel trilogy, he is like really one of the bright spots. Like his predatory turn in Revenge of the Sith really stands out to me as one of his finest contributions to the whole franchise. So, like, I got to give this one a definite yes.
Stephen, what do you say about Sir Ian McDermott as Palpatine? You're muted.
It's definitely a yes. He's great. Really nicely slippery, especially in Revenge of the Sith. The way he manipulates Anakin, yeah, he's awesome. So yeah.
Jay, what do you say about Sir Ian McDermott as Palpatine?
I would have given him a yes. This is obvious. This is like my number 2 on the list. So, like, I can't hate. This is a good choice. This is a real good choice.
Yeah. Somehow Palpatine has made the list and returned. But
wait, was it him or was it one of his clones?
Don't get me started. Please don't get me started.
Did we find out? Did we find out during a game of Fortnite that he made the list?
Most likely, I inked a deal with Fortnite yesterday.
It's fair. It's fair.
But yeah, it would have been an easy yes for me as well. Like, he's just so great. But Kevin, what is your next nomination?
My next nomination, I'm going to go with a voice character as well, but it is a puppet character. I'm going to go with Frank Oz with Yoda. He's been Yoda in the originals. He's been Yoda in the prequels. He's been Yoda in the sequels. So he's been there the whole time, and I don't think anybody's really been that impactful for a puppet, honestly, for that many years. Like, that's awesome. So I love Frank Oz's performance as Yoda.
Stephen, what do you say about Frank Oz as Yoda?
I'll give him a yes. I'm not as high on him as most people are as far as acting performances, but he is iconic, and obviously a huge, important part of the franchise. So I'll go with yes.
Jay, what do you say about Frank Oz?
What is there to say? Do or do not. There is no try. My boy, get the fuck out of here with that question, man. This is that character that has kind of transcended all of Star Wars and become like, he's the Star Wars version of Uncle Iroh. His teachings live on long after that character may or may not be around anymore. Everybody will just, again, do or do not. There is no try. We are what we grow beyond. Fucking, this would have been an easy yes. This is an easy yes.
I'm not going to lie. When Kevin said puppet character, I was half convinced he was going to go try and convince us about Yaddle. But yeah. No, Frank Oz as Yoda is definitely one of the easy yeses here. And yeah, Ben, what do you say about Frank Oz?
Give him a yes, I will. Yeah, of course.
Stephen, we then go back to you for your next nomination.
I'm surprised it's taking this long to get to him, but I'll go with Harrison Ford. The arc his character goes through in A New Hope is great. I actually think he might give his strongest performance actually in The Force Awakens, as far as his acting goes. And he's just, iconic and awesome and great.
Jay, what do you say about Harrison Ford?
There's a reason why Harrison Ford's best performance in a Star Wars movie is in the one where he dies. It's because it's the one where he dies and he doesn't have to do this shit anymore. It was over for him as soon as he said the line, "I know," in Empire. He was like, I'm probably not coming back. They backed the money truck up to his house. This one's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna say no, because most of his performance was kind of phoning it in after that point. He really just didn't want to be there. And his best performance is still the what? No, nothing's going on here. How are you? And that's a minuscule, that's a moment of his time. And the rest of it is just not it. I'm going to say no. And that one hurts my heart because I love Han Solo. But his performance, Harrison Ford's performance as Han Solo, isn't top 12 worthy for me.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere out there, Christy V has just watched Star Wars for the first time. We actually probably agree with that because I know she doesn't really like Harrison Ford much.
I love him. He just not
yeah.
top 12.
Oh no. But I think me and Jay are going to end up agreeing a lot on this because I actually agree. I like Harrison Ford a lot. But yeah, a lot of his performance, especially because I mean he wanted to be killed off in Empire, and after that, like kind of, he was voting in. They may have convinced him to bring him back because they said they were going to kill him off in Force Awakens. But yeah,
Well, they did bring him back briefly for
Rise.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
I mean, yeah, but like it's probably one of those ones like we're going to bring you back because we need you, but
It was.
it's only going to be a little.
They also brought Tupac back at Coachella.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Harrison Ford. It's for me. He's probably outside of my top 12 personally, but yeah, it's going to be a no. Ben, what do you say about Harrison Ford as Han Solo?
I hear all you guys are saying, but I have to say yes. His performance as Han Solo is iconic. You talk to anyone on the street, you ask them, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Luke Skywalker.
More likely than not, they will say Han Solo, portrayed by Harrison Ford. He's that good. It makes him love him in Star Wars.
Kevin, it's down to you. What do you say about Harrison Ford?
Get off my plane.
I love Harrison Ford, and I love love his performances in Star Wars. And I gotta go like what Jay said earlier. Like I gotta think not what happened behind the scenes, and try to keep that out of my head and just think about how he acted in the films. And I think he was fucking awesome. And I wanted to be Harrison Ford, and I wanted to be Han Solo. He's my favorite character, so he's going on the list.
Jay, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
It is the correct nomination. It is Mark Hamill, nice. Luke Skywalker. From the moment you see that boy stare at them twin sons to the moment that you see that boy stare at them twin sons. Say what you want to say about what happens in the background. That man acted his heart and soul out and gave us probably one of the greatest fucking characters, one of the greatest protagonists to a hero's journey that has ever been put to screen. You can thank Joseph Campbell. You can thank half of the shitty writing of fucking George Lucas for it. Actually, no, you can thank really good writing for George Lucas because he started in the middle of a story and then went back and kept him out of the really shitty parts. And then they brought him back. But, you know, even from when he's a whiny little bitch, just like his father before him, I'm going to go to Touchy Station and pick up some power converter. Yeah, to the moment where he throws the lightsaber, you can see that this man put his heart and soul into it, and I have to nominate him. That's my Joker right there, baby.
Yeah, this one is a little bit tough for me because this is one that I didn't put on my list of ones I was going to bring up, but I do also like Mark Hamill as Luke. Look, honestly, I mean, I do like him, and I won't be upset if he makes this list. But I'm going to give him a slight no on this. Ben, what do you say about Mark Hamill?
I have to say yes.
You have to. Hands are tied.
It's probably one of the most iconic characters in movie history. And the character arc that you see him go from is from A New Hope to Return of the Jedi. I'm not talking about the sequels, but in that original trilogy, that character arc is perfection. Chef's kiss. He did a great job. So that's why I say yeah.
Respect.
Kevin, what do you say about Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, I mean, his emotional journey, the near-death experience on Hoth, his devastating revelation after the loss to Darth Vader. He grew so much that you have to love this character. And Mark Hamill is the perfect person to pick for it. So it's an easy yes for me. He was constantly, talking to people in droid outfits. I mean, who knows what he was dealing with on the side, but he made this look easy. And yes, he may have kissed his sister, but that's a story for another day.
You kiss your sister, dude!
With that, Mark Hamill was going to make this list. Stephen, what would you have said about Mark Hamill?
So, prior to The Last Jedi, I probably would have said no because he's fine, but I didn't think he was that great in the original trilogy. His acting, I mean, obviously the character is great, but his acting isn't that great. But, like a lot of the actors, he's gotten better over the years, and he gave a really strong performance in The Last Jedi, I thought. So I'll go with yes.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah, right, so for my next nomination, and I also don't know how this is going to go because, but I'm going to go for Daisy Ridley as Rey Skywalker, Palpatine, Kenobi, Yoda, whatever last name she wants to go with. Look, say what you want about the sequel trilogy. I know, like, it was really messy at times, but I think, acting wise, I think Daisy Ridley's arc over this trilogy, and her performance as Rey, I think was really good. And it's one of those ones like, I can sort of appreciate the growth that she sort of went through over these series, whether it's struggling with the identity of finding out she is related to a villain, or just sort of finding her place in the world, or even just sort of like her scenes when she's scavenging in Force Awakens, and just sort of trying to not want to leave and all that. But I think her performances over this trilogy was really good. Ben, what do you say about Daisy Ridley as Rey?
Okay, I'm going to try to make this simple. Given what he was given, her acting was great. So yes, I say yes. Based on her acting performance, not by the story or character, but she gave a great acting performance. So yeah.
Kevin, what do you say about Daisy Ridley as Ray?
Yeah, I fully agree with you guys that, and I'll expand and just continue on with what I said about Luke. I see the same things in the Ray character, the growth from her first movie to the final movie that she's in. It's just like it's basically similar to watching Luke grow. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes to this one. I think out of all the new characters, Ray like pulled me in the most for sure.
Stephen, what would you have said about Daisy Ridley as Ray? You're muted.
Yeah, I had to watch my niece and nephews, so I sometimes mute myself. But it's definitely a yes for me. I think she's great. I love her character. Love her arc, even though it might be somewhat similar. I mean, there's another character from the sequel trilogy that I may bring up that is very similar to another original character in a lot of ways. But yeah.
Jay, what would you have said about Daisy Ridley as Ray?
No. I think that there are people in the sequel trilogy that have given better performances than Daisy Ridley. Not that she didn't give a good performance in like 1.5 movies, but there wasn't enough there for me. I'm not like complaining that she's a Mary Sue or anything like that. I fucking hate that argument. That's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard. She's better in Murder on the Orient Express than she is in any one of the Star Wars movies. And that's just my opinion. And I love the sequel trilogy, with the exception of the last one, because that shit doesn't exist, and with the exception of the first one, because that's just a remake of A New Hope. So there's like one movie right there that's really fucking good, okay? But everybody doesn't want to talk about it like it's Bruno. But this would have been a no from me.
Ben, what is your next nomination?
I can't believe I knew this one. Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. Lana. I mean, talk about an iconic Disney princess. Yeah, she's a Disney princess now. She's one of the first badass characters, only given by Carrie, who made it her own. She gave her personality. She was fun. She was exciting. She was dramatic. Yes, Carrie Fisher.
Kevin, what do you say about Carrie Fisher?
I mean, there's not much you can say that's bad about her. She's great in the film she was in. She was the princess. She'll always be the princess. I'm not a big fan of the making her the general, whatever. But that was what it was. But yeah, I mean, how they handled it at the end that's not really. I don't feel like she had her choice on that. But as far as her acting, I feel like she did. Yeah, she did a good job. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a yes.
But Stephen, what do you say about Carrie Fisher?
I'll give her a yes. I think she's very good, particularly in the original trilogy. She doesn't have a whole lot to do, admittedly, in the sequel trilogy. They don't really. So part of that isn't entirely the filmmaker's fault, since the actress died. But she's strong enough in the original trilogy that I'll give her a yes.
Jay, what would you have said about Carrie Fisher?
So many things.
Right.
But from the moment she strode on screen in episode 4, this was just a fucking acting class, bro. She put on probably some of my favorite performances in that entire movie. Standing up to the guy who literally just walked through a hallway and killed about 40 fucking people, and lying directly to his face. And then continue doing that and being the badass and saving the fucking day in 3 fucking movies. Who got them out of the fucking who got them everywhere they needed to go? Who got them out of that fucking hallway with the stormtroopers that were shooting at them? Who stole fucking Han Solo's goddamn blaster, shot the grate so they could get into the fucking trash compactor? Who got him out of the fucking trash compactor? Who killed fucking Jabba the Hutt? Fucking say what you want about Mary Poppins in space. She fucking killed it the entire way through.
But yeah, I'm the same. Like when Carrie Fisher sort of came on, you could tell that she is related to some great actors of the past, like Debbie Reynolds.
Rip to both of them.
She just showed like on why she got the role, why she was there. She's just so good. And I mean, like even in the sequel trilogy, because I think her becoming the general of the Resistance, I think was a perfect sort of progression in her character. I think that if she was going to be in the sequel trilogy, I think she needed to be the general. And I think even that, it was unfortunate. We couldn't have gotten more, because who knows where they would have gone with Leia in the final installment of the chapter if she was still alive. But unfortunately, that's just going to be a what if scenario we're not going to know. But that being said, she's just perfection. So yeah. Kevin, what is your next nomination?
With my next nomination, I'm going to go with C-3PO, and Anthony Daniels. Anthony Daniels, as annoying as he might be, some of his quips and quibbles, his vocal performance, his mannerisms are always on point. He's multifaceted and entertaining. Return of the Jedi is really his main film where he shows off, I think. Just in Jabba's palace, and then on the Forest Moon of Endor. He does a great job. So Anthony Daniels.
Stephen, what do you say about Anthony Daniels as C-3PO?
You know what? I'll go with yes, because he is good comic relief, and he does manage to craft a really endearing character. So yeah, I'll go with yes.
Jay, what do you say about Anthony Daniels as C-3PO?
I really want to say no to this. I really want to say no to this. If this was the combo of Anthony Daniels and like Kenny Baker, like that would be one thing, because you can't really have one without the other. And I think that they like proved that with the sequel trilogy. Like it didn't really work. You need both of them to kind of level each other out. But his performances, he's the only fucking person who has been in all of them, by the way. I think that longevity just works. As much as people might hate the man inside the fucking suit for being a dick, as much as he told Alan Tudyk to fuck off when he was like, oh, it's just green screen for me. Yeah. And I'm mad at myself because I think there are better performances, and I think he works best with somebody else. But there's always somebody around, and it's never just solo C-3PO. So I'm gonna go with yeah.
Fuck, that makes me mad. Yeah, this is one of those ones. Like I like Anthony Daniels. Like I think he's great as C-3PO. if this was brought up earlier, I might have actually said yes. I'm personally going to say no to this. But yeah. But Ben, what do you say about Anthony Daniels?
I think that only based on his acting performance, taking away any behind the scenes drama, because we all know there's behind the scenes drama with him and Kenny Baker particularly. But he gives himself to that character, and you could feel it in every one of the movies he's in. So I say yeah.
So I believe that's 3 yeses. I think he's making this list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But with that, we move on to Stephen.
I'm going to bring up my favorite actor from the sequel trilogy, and that is Oscar Isaac. And even though, we already compared Ray with Luke. Poe is obviously very similar in a lot of ways to Han Solo, but I think he still has an overall very strong arc, and a very how his character progresses throughout the movies is really good, I think. And I think Oscar Isaac is a great actor and really great in the part.
Jay, what do you say about Oscar Isaac as Poe?
It's a one note performance. I'm gonna say no. I like Oscar Isaac in other movies. I think when he gets to fly, it's a really good performance. When he's in the pilot seat of his X-wing, that is when Oscar Isaac is the best. When he fucks with General Hux at the beginning of that movie that nobody talks about, is probably his best performance in all 3 of those movies. And it's just not good enough for me to say, yeah, this is one of the top 12 acting performances of all time in Star Wars. So it's going to be a no.
Yeah, I like Oscar Isaac. It's also going to be a no for me as well. Just for pretty much what Jay said. I mean, had they been more consistent with his character and kind of did it better and kind of given him sort of more different stuff to do, then it would have been something else. But it's a no for me. Ben, what do you say about Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron?
Yeah, I like him, but there are so many better performances in this franchise. And he seems to be better. Moonlight, anybody, he was great in Moonlight. Yeah, it's a no for me. I like him, but yeah, no.
And Kevin, what would you have said about Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a no for me as well, for the same reasons that you all have already said.
But with that, Jay, what is your next nomination?
See, now we're getting into the nitty gritty. I'm going back to the realm of voice actors, though. And I'm gonna nominate Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan Jarrus in Star Wars Rebels. I know Steven's gonna have to abstain; he hasn't watched it, but Freddie Prinze Jr. gives that like Han Solo-esque performance, all while trying to teach somebody the things that he learned without actually having a master. And watching him progress from this scoundrel rogue-like character into that teacher that makes the biggest decision that he could make to save the lives of those that he cares for and that he loves. You can't see the actor's face, but you can get across the message that he is trying to portray with just his voice. And I think that he has one of the better performances in all of Rebels. So I'm going to go with Freddie Prinze Jr., Kanan Jarrus.
This is tough for me because there is only 3 spots left. I'm going to give him a slight yes. I really did love Rebels when I was watching it, and I do think that out of all the casts in there, like I think Freddie Prinze Jr. is one of the best ones in here, and I think he does a really good job of portraying the mentorship role through voice, and I think he does it really well. So I think he deserves to be here. Ben, what do you say about Freddie Prinze Jr. As Caleb?
I like him, but yes, but he's not my favorite performance in Rebels. Spoiler alert, there was somebody else that might be showing up when I nominate somebody else.
But Kevin, what do you say about Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan?
Yeah, I absolutely think that he's the perfect voice, and I think he actually is the perfect voice for the whole show. He kind of like holds the whole show together. When I hear his voice, I think Rebels, and I automatically go into that show mode. So absolutely, yes.
In all fairness, Chopper is the glue that holds that show together.
Yeah.
Genocidal little
100%.
that genocidal little robot.
And Stephen, what would you have said about Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Which one is he again? Is he the one that
Kanan? He's the leader of the Ghosts, essentially.
of the ship that they're in the first? Because
Yeah.
I saw the first episode, and I didn't realize that was Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Freddie Prinze.
The more you know.
Wow, now I want to go back and re-listen to see if I can recognize him.
Honestly, just keep on watching the series. It's actually
It's
really
such a
good. Like, he
good
gets a lot
show.
better going off.
This is such a good show.
Yeah, this is tricky because I've only seen one episode. It's tough to judge on just one episode. But
I mean, he's already in. So
Yeah.
He's already made the list.
So just because I haven't seen enough, I would have said no. But obviously, like you said, he's already in. So
yeah.
This side is the dark
it's on
side.
me.
Go to the dark side of the force.
This is tough. There's only 2 spots left.
Do we count Fanboys as a Star Wars movie?
No.
God damn it.
Kevin Smith is not making this list. Although,
I wasn't gonna nominate Kevin Smith. Thank you. I was actually gonna nominate William Shatner.
I mean, that would really make Star Wars fans mad.
we should amend the rules just to allow that. I've never seen the movie, but I'd still say yes.
What I will do is I'll put him on as a joke option on the poll.
There you
There you go. There you go.
I want to see people's reaction without reading it.
All right. But yeah, I'm gonna go for one. They've only had one movie. Whether or not they're going to appear in a later series, I don't know at this stage. I'm going to go for Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. Whether or not she's going to be making an appearance in Andor, I don't know. We've only got Rogue One to base her on. But I think Felicity Jones does a good job of playing Jyn Erso, and I really do want to see more of this character, if possible. I know, obviously, anything post Rogue One is out of the question, but
You know how that movie ends, right?
Yeah, I know how the movie ends. Going into the movie, we knew how it was going to end. But with even knowing how it was going to end, she does a really good job of getting us to sort of like this character enough to care that she's going to die at the end.
Spoilers.
I mean, if they haven't seen Rogue One, then what are they doing?
It's right there.
But in case you've never seen Star Wars, spoilers: Jyn Erso dies at the end. Ben, what do you say about Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso?
I like her. I really can't say much. We only got her in that one movie, and we're probably not going to get her anymore. So based on that criteria, And seeing how we said the same thing about Sir Alec Guinness, I have to say no.
Kevin, what do you say about Felicity Jones as Januso?
Ben, you're not wrong. But this movie is total fan service. But if you're talking about just the role itself and how she played it, Felicity Jones did an excellent job from the time they rescue her in Wobani or on Wobani. I mean, she actually won an Empire Award for Best Actress for this film. She was just the emotional portion of this film that it needed. She was rebellious and just she was just really charged. And I feel like in a fan servicey film, you don't expect that, but to see it out of Felicity Jones, I'm with you, Malcolm. I would like to see her character more fleshed out. So yes, I'll give it a yes.
And to be fair, the difference with Felicity Jones and Alec Guinness is Alec Guinness could have popped up in other movies if he wanted to. Felicity Jones really, she's not a Jedi.
He was just see-through on set. He was there.
Yeah, but Stephen, what do you say about Felicity Jones as Januso?
We have 2 spots left.
Yeah.
That's
I'll give her a yes. I'm not a huge Rogue One person, although the last half hour is great. But up until then, the movie is just okay. But she's really good in it, so I will give it a slight yes.
I mean, I think I know where you're going, Jay, but what are you going to say about Januso?
This isn't the performance from this movie.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's Alan Tudyk if it's anybody from this movie, or it's Mads Mikkelsen as Orson Krennic in this movie. It's not James Earl Jones cracking dad jokes. It's not the really shitty Willa Huff Tarkin fucking CGI. It's not the bad Carrie CGI. It's not even Diego Luna in this movie. It's Alan Tudyk. You guys made the wrong choice, and I have no problems fucking saying that to your faces.
Don't joke on your
aspirations. Bro.
But yeah, Ben, we've got 1 spot left. What are you going to bring up?
Actually, X9 as Ahsoka Tano from Clone Wars and from Rebels. I mean, he was introduced in the movie like Clone Wars. And he didn't character, but they gave him the time and knowing that if he brought her a performance, people will end up loving her. And that's exactly what happened. Her character grew and grew and grew to the point where we're getting a whole Ahsoka show. Yeah, she's not in it, but we wouldn't be getting that show if it wasn't for Ashley's time as Ahsoka to begin with. That's my final nomination. Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka Tano.
We do have a bit of correction from the chat. Mads didn't play Krennic. Mads was Galen Erso. Ben
right.
Mendelsohn was Krennic.
I get him confused. I do. That's why Ben Mendelsohn is literally referred to in the group chat as Diet Mads Mikkelsen. Diet Mads Mikkelsen.
But sorry, Ben. Who did you say? Was that Ahsoka?
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein, the voice actor.
Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka. Kevin, what do you say about Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka?
And I'll say this: I wish she wasn't the last one on a 12-person list. She's great. I can think of no downside to Ashley Eckstein. She brings the fire. She brings the the inexperience early, and then like the experience later that you really want from this character. Man, I gotta say yes. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a yes.
Stephen, what do you say about Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka?
I'd have to abstain.
Jay, what do you say about Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka?
There's another name on my list that I want to nominate so badly, and that's the thing. Like, I have to say no. And it hurts my heart to have to say no, because I love her performance as Ahsoka, especially in like season 7. I love her performance, but there's just enough there for me in like seasons 1 through 6 that don't necessitate a great acting performance. So that's the only way I can justify this. That's the only way I can justify that, and I'm gonna say no.
Yeah. If she was brought up a little bit earlier, I probably would have been inclined to say yes. But yeah, and that's not to say that I don't like Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka. Like for me personally, I think Rosario Dawson in The Mandalorian did a really good job of encapsulating a really older version of Ahsoka, but we've only seen her in probably about 2 episodes at this point in different series. I can't wait to see how she goes with a full series on her own. But yeah, I'm also going to say no. So unfortunately, Ashley Eckstein as Ahsoka doesn't make this list. Kevin, who are you going to bring up next?
I respect the choice, though. I really do, Ben. I respect that choice.
I thought it was going to be a slam dunk, but it's all fair. It's all fair.
My next choice is gonna be shit. I don't know.
What, your next choice is going to be shit? What, it's going to be Jar Jar?
So hang on. Give me like 2 seconds to think about this.
It's going to be the fucking gonk droid.
It's gonna be the mouse droid from episode 5. No, all right. I'm gonna go with Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. I think Pedro Pascal has done a great job. He has been behind the helmet. He's done some with the helmet off, but for the most part, like he's doing all this with all this armor on, and he's having to do like these small movements basically to show you emotion. And I think that is so hard to do from an actor perspective. And I think that's what makes this a great acting role for Star Wars. And I don't think it can be left off this list. I think it would be just really bad if we left it off. So Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin.
But Stephen, what do you say about Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'll have to abstain.
Jay, what do you say about Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin?
This one isn't as hard as Ashley Eckstein, to tell you the truth. This is going to be a no from me. No, there's honestly not enough there, and there's somebody else behind the armor for 90% of the show. So pass.
Yeah, this is another one. If this was brought up earlier, my answer might have been different. But yeah, basically for what Jay said, like, there's 90% of people, like, not 90% of the time it's not him under the armor; he's just the voice. But like, we've only had 12 episodes, like, and it's just, I mean, it's a good performance. It's just not top 12. for me. So I'm also going to go no. Ben, what would you have said about Pedro Pascal as Din Djarin?
As much as I love the character and love the show, it has to be a no because, like you guys said, 90% of the time it's not him. He does it before you. But it's not him in the suit. 90% of the time. So yeah, it's a no for me.
It says online it is though. So I mean, I'm just going by what it says.
But yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones like it's been reported that he's not in that suit a lot of the time. I don't know how accurate some of those reports are.
Yeah,
but
like,
yeah.
Just said like he was more in season 2. So that was the main thing about it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but still got one spot left. Stephen, who are you going to bring up?
Let's see how this goes. I wasn't that impressed with him in The Force Awakens, but I think he improves a lot in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and that's Adam Driver. Yeah, I think I don't know. Maybe it's the event of killing his father that starts turning him into a more interesting character. But he really grows for the better, I think. Even though initially I was very disappointed in the decision to have him redeemed in Rise of Skywalker, because Last Jedi really seemed to indicate that was not going to happen. But it did. But nevertheless, Adam Driver is excellent in the role, and so I'm gonna bring him up.
Jay, what do you say about Adam Driver as Kylo?
If this was brought up 7 spots ago, I would say yes. I think that there are better performances out there still than Kylo Ren. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a personal bias. I hate the fact that they gave him a redemption arc. Let us have a bad guy that doesn't need to be completely redeemed. That's all you needed. That's all you needed. You could have literally changed everything else. I just don't know. Like it's not good. Once, like the most interesting thing he does is kill his dad, and then he's just bland and a Skywalker at that point, because then he's just a whiny little bitch for 2.5 movies until Rey brings him back to life. After that pass. None of that is interesting to me. He gives one really good performance, and it is in The Rise. It's in I'm sorry, no, it's in The Force Awakens, not Rise of Skywalker. So yeah, no, this is an easy no for me.
I mean, I like Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. The fact he got redemption arc doesn't actually bother me as much as it bothers other people. But it's also one of those ones. It just also didn't really feel that earned either. So yeah, I do like Adam Driver's performance in this. It is just pretty much of a similar note though. Throughout the sequel trilogy, so I'm going to say no to this as well. Ben, what do you say about Adam Driver as Kylo Ren?
No. Not even okay in the movies, which hurts me. I know he's a great actor. I didn't couldn't get on board with it. I'm sorry.
And Kevin, what would you have said about Adam Driver?
Yeah, I'm disappointed he didn't make the list, but I'm not shocked. But yeah, I love Adam Driver. I love him as Kylo. He doesn't, he doesn't come off too strong at the beginning, and I think that's where he falters. But yeah, I mean, I would have given it a yes because I love the character, but and I love his growth as well, and I think he handles the character well. But I think there are better characters. Honestly.
But Jay, we've got one spot left. Who are you going to bring up?
I've only got one spot left. All right. I'm gonna bring up probably the oldest person on this list by far. A man who in his 90s started a heavy metal band to sing about his descendant, the person that he's descended from, Charlemagne, a man that played not only Sherlock Holmes but Dracula. We're going. I saw that look. Stephen. I'm bringing up Christopher Lee. By the way, I'm bringing up Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. Say what you want. This is what I want in a villain, especially like if I'm going to get an older villain. The command that his presence had on screen. You look at him. He is not overly confident. He is a competent villain, to say the least, and gets double played by his master at the end of his life. And the absolute look of betrayal on this man's face when Papa Palps hits him with the "do it." It's fucking mind-breakingly good. You know what they say about pride. It's Christopher Lee. I think Christopher Lee, if we're gonna have another person make this list, we're gonna have somebody from like the prequel trilogy make the list. This is the character that makes the list. Palpatine could be argued for the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. I think if we're gonna have somebody nominated from the prequel trilogy, this is the correct answer to go with.
I mean, we've got Yoda who counts as before, but that being said, yeah, this is really tough because there's one that I didn't write down that came in my head that I was hoping to do next, but but Christopher Lee as Count Dooku is great. And I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly, I think he also made our Middle Earth acting performances list. So
I didn't want to be biased.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that as a reason for saying no to it, but because I'm definitely saying yes. Because I mean, Christopher Lee is great at playing villains. Like, it's one of those things that I've noticed a lot. I mean, I've seen him play a villain. Like, he's just really good in it as it, and when doing it at the age of 90, it's just amazing. And so yeah, I'm going to say yes to Christopher Lee. Ben, what do you say about Christopher Lee?
I would say yes for everything you said. You give a good performance, and yeah, I say yeah.
Kevin, what do you say about Count Dooku? Christopher Lee.
Yeah, I say yes. I think as a one-off villain, like, he gives a great performance, and just something that people, when you think of Star Wars and you think of the prequels, you think Christopher Lee, and if you're not really in tune with Star Wars, you might even think like, oh, he was in more than one movie. But no, he was only in the one. But he's just that great and does that good of a job. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a yes.
I mean, technically it's 1.5. As I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly, I think Dooku's in the opening moments of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, with that is our 12. Just to recap, who's we have here is we've got Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, Sam Witwer as Starcliffe, Sir Ian McDermott as Palpatine, Frank Oz as Yoda, Harrison Ford as Han Solo, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Daisy Ridley as Rey, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan, Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso, and Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. Some honorable mentions that I did have here, like we mentioned it before when Rogue One's brought up. I did have Ben Mendelsohn down as Krennic down here.
Same, yeah.
The other one that came to my mind when Jay did bring up Mads Mikkelsen is actually Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn from Rebels.
I have Matt Lanter and James Arnold.
I'm going around, Kevin.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Look, I like James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. And it's just one of those ones that it's also one of those ones that I think it doesn't really change a lot over the series, and that's probably going to be the one that a lot of people are going to come to when I put this poll tomorrow. And I mean, I actually didn't hate Donald Glover playing Lando in Solo. Ben, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Vader, Jimmy Smith as Bill O'Connor, Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu. Yeah, those are them.
Kevin, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Sorry, I had the ones I mentioned, and then I had Alden Ehrenreich, and let's see, Ming Na Wen was one that I was going to bring up too. Oh, and Domhnall Gleeson. That's who I was.
Stephen, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Yeah, Domhnall Gleeson was up there for me too. I think the guy's hilarious, even though him being the traitor didn't really make any sense. Let's see. He was given the short shrift in the later movies, but John Boyega gives a really strong performance in The Force Awakens.
You're not wrong.
Laura Dern, I actually really liked her in The Last Jedi. And Billy D. Williams.
And Jay, what are some honorable mentions that you had?
Donald Glover instead of Billy D. To tell you the truth, because I think Donald Glover did such a good job playing Billy D. Williams, playing Lando Calrissian. I had Kevin Michael Richardson as Jolie Bindo from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That character does not get enough credit whatsoever as being one of the greatest fucking teachers in video game history. I had what's his bucket? Dave Filoni as Chopper was like way low down on my list. D. Bradley Baker as all of the voices of all of the fucking clones in all of the shows. Let's go. And Alan Tudyk. I can't believe I just forgot. Like I looked right behind my shoulder and was like, I had Alan Tudyk on my list too.
Well, I mean, I figured you didn't say, because we did mention that earlier when we did talk about Rogue One. So, but yeah, but if it's now on the fun part of ranking these, so how would we do this? Is we write on a whiteboard, or I'm just gonna say it. I mean, it's one of those ones like not too, but yeah, and who we want at 12, and then we keep going down until we've ranked all the ones put there. So Ben, who out of the 12 that we made our shortlist, who do you think should be our number 12?
Lord and Frank on.
Kevin, who do you have for 12?
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Get a whiteboard, Kevin.
Hey, shut up.
Stephen, who do you have at 12?
I put Felicity Jones.
Jay.
I also put the correct answer of Felicity Jones.
I put Anthony Daniels, but just for the reason he's better with and appearing. But Felicity Jones is going to make number 12. But Kevin, who do you have for 11?
I just stuck with FPJ.
Stephen, who do you have for 11?
Anthony Daniels.
Jay,
Daisy Ridley.
Anthony Daniels. Ben,
Also Anthony Daniels.
Anthony Daniels is going to be 11.
This is going to be a controversial choice, probably.
Stephen, who do you have at 10?
I know he's the face of the franchise, but well, he's a great character. He's an okay actor. Mark Hamill.
Jay.
Daisy Ridley.
I also put Daisy Ridley. Ben.
Daisy Ridley.
And
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh.
I don't think I've actually got to go here. Jay, who do you have at 9?
Frank Oz.
I've got a controversial one here. Harrison Ford. Ben.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Kevin.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
And Stephen.
This is going to be up to Jay because I put Frank Oz.
No, do you mean it's up to me? Because Jay had Frank.
I had Frank Oz.
I thought Malcolm had Frank Oz for some reason. I don't know why.
So
I've got to go this way. Might have to spell. Might help if I spell his name right.
P-R-I-N-Z-E.
Hey, Freddie Prinze Jr. was in my favorite TV show of all time.
What was that?
What Rebels is your favorite TV show just for the one episode?
No, he was actually in the whole season of 24.
Oh yeah, he was great in that.
But at number 8, I've still got Harrison Ford. Ben, who do you have for 8?
Harrison Ford.
Kevin.
Frank Oz.
Stephen.
I guess it's gonna be wait. I'll go with Frank Oz.
And Jay.
Didn't change my board. Frank Oz.
Frank Oz is going to be 8. All right. Ben, who do you have for number 7?
Kevin Fisher.
Kevin, who do you have for 7?
Ian McDermott.
Stephen, who do you have for 7?
Mark Hamill.
Jay.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford.
Malcolm, can you update the list of who we have left, please?
Yep. So we've got Ewan McGregor, Sam Witwer, Ian McDermott, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and
Ian
Christopher Lee.
And what was the last one?
Christopher Lee.
Oh, thank you.
Kevin, who do you have for Sticks?
Ian McDermott.
Stephen.
Still keeping Mark Hamill.
We get it. You hate Star Wars.
Jay.
Christopher Lee.
Sam Witwer, Starkiller. Ben.
Christopher Lee.
Kevin. Wait, no, start. Christopher Lee's.
Yeah, I was like, we're there. You can't give Kevin 2 votes for Ian McDermott. This is bullshit. This is shenanigans.
So who went on that one? Sorry.
Christopher Lee.
Oh, it was Chris. Gotcha. Like, no, probably not.
Stephen, who do you have for 5?
I'll keep Mark Hamill.
Jay.
Ian McDermott.
Sam Witwer. Ben.
Sam Witwer.
And Kevin.
Ian McDermott.
So, Stephen, Ian McDermott or Sam Witwer at number 5?
I don't want to vote for Ian McDermott, but I also don't like voting for something I haven't seen or heard. Just because, even though he is a part of the Schmodown and I haven't seen it, I like Ian McDermott too much. I'll go with Sam Witwer.
It's bullshit way to judge that, sir.
Totally fair.
I think Ian McDermott is top 3 personally.
Dude, you hate Luke Skywalker. What do you know?
I don't hate the character. I just think Mark Hamill's performance is
One of the greatest? Yeah, I know. That's what I said. That's why it's
not
a
as strong. Not as strong.
Just to recap who we've got left for the top 4, we've got Ewan McGregor, Ian McDermott, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher.
Definitely not Ewan McGregor. Definitely not.
You're not muted, Stephen. We can hear you.
Jay, who do you have for number 4?
Ian McDermott, the correct option for last time.
Out of the 4 that are left, I've got to go Mark Hamill. Ben.
Bitch.
Ian McDermott.
Kevin.
Ian McDermott.
And Stephen.
Well, I think it's obvious, but Mark Hamill.
Fuck out my face with that bullshit, Stephen.
Bad guys are more interesting than the good guys.
Not bad guy clones.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay.
Ben, who do you have for number 3?
Mark Hamill.
Kevin.
I went Carrie Fisher.
Stephen.
Mark Hamill.
Jay.
Rest in peace, General.
Mark Hamill.
You're a bitch, Malcolm.
I mean, people call me that all the time, and I don't respond.
You just did.
Grace.
Burn.
All right, so put number 1 on.
Yep, we go straight to number 1, which is between Ewan McGregor and Carrie Fisher.
So she's your number 1. Whoever doesn't get voted becomes the number 2.
Pretty much.
I'm a little stoned, so I don't know how to spell.
Ben, out of Ewan McGregor and Carrie Fisher, who is your number 1?
This is tough. I like both of them, but I have to go with my man, Ewan McGregor.
Kevin, who is your number 1?
Number 1 is no doubt Ewan McGregor, with 1B being Sir Alec Guinness.
Stephen.
Ewan McGregor.
Jay.
Hello there.
Looks like I'm going to be the outlier here, but I actually put Carrie Fisher.
Yikes.
I mean, for me, they're both really close together anyway.
We should have known when that was first brought up and argued that was just going to go ahead and be number 1.
I'm really glad that the week doesn't start until next Thursday.
I mean, it's one of those ones like just because the first one that comes up doesn't always become number 1. It's just it's why quite often I would bring up one of the lesser ones first.
You never know.
But with that, and to answer Chris's comment, rewind the video and watch from the start.
Yeah.
Or watch the list that's about to go down.
Yeah, or that too. But with that being said, our top 12 acting performances in Star Wars. At number 12, we've got Felicity Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
At number 12, we've got Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. At 11, Anthony Daniels as C-3PO. At 10, we've got Daisy Ridley as Rey. At 9, we've got Freddie Prinze Jr. as Kanan. At 8, we got Frank Oz as Yoda. At 7, we got Harrison Ford as Han Solo. At 6, we got Christopher Lee as Count Dooku. At 5, we got Sam Witwer as Starkiller. At 4, we got Ian McDiarmid as Papa Palpatine. At 3, we got Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. At 2, we got Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. And number 1 is Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. But with that being said, that is the list. I've got the poll up on the Take Free page for what you want the topic for next week to be. Ben, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at McPhillipman_radio over at my YouTube channel, The Multi-Physic Kingdom. We have plenty of shows and come check that out.
Kevin, where can people find you online?
Most people know where to find me. I am the commissioner of TM Geek, and we're running a tournament right now, the Team Geek Tournament, which is for a cash prize. So if you haven't checked it out, go on the TM Geek Facebook page, join, and like, subscribe, share the stuff on our channel. And Jay Burns is in that in those matches, so I'll pass it off to him.
You skipped Steven. Go to Steven first. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
But Stephen, where can people find you online?
You know, all over social media, Facebook, my just my name, uh, Letterboxd, S Shepherd 2, and tomorrow night I'll be on Tier Ranker Fights at the Movie Hero Network, doing best action movies from 2005 to 2009.
Jay, we can be find you online.
They can't. Don't look for me. Don't try to blow up my spot like that, Kevin.
Sorry, bro.
Wow.
But with that, you can find me on Take 3 Productions hosting Rankum every week, and I also compete in Team Geek. Kevin just didn't mention me. But
I meant out of the panel. I was trying to. Sorry about that.
I mean, it's fine.
I'm just gonna go like do the Homer thing and disappear.
But I had a movie battleground match just drop today, and I believe on Monday, over on Dylan Randazzo's channel, the Dog Pickle Network, I'll have a MCU trivia match dropping, in which I take on JD Domash. But generally you can find me everywhere. But until next time, keep listing shit as I find my standard ending.
And thanks to you, that's over now, and you've ruined that